I was getting ready to make 2 grilled tuna sandwiches and don't have enough fake tuna, so let's make some. So the only thing we really need is a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas, some mayo. I'll be using a variety of seasoning, and a plate and a fork to mash it all up. So the first thing we're going to do is drain and rinse our can of chickpeas, garbanzo beans. Going to dump those on a plate and proceed to mash them with a fork. And I'm not going to bore you and have you watch me do all this. But it's messy and it's a little bit of exercise, but that's alright. Get all these mashed up. Make sure there isn't a chickpea left alive. And when this is all done, I'll bring you back. Okay, now that we've got this all mashed up, the next ingredient is going to be mayonnaise. And I've got like a heaping 1/4 cup. I normally don't measure any of this. I kind of do it by eye. So I guess a good place to start would be a 1/4 cup. And if you feel that it needs a little bit more, go ahead and just add that. I'm using about a heaping 1/4 cup. I like mayonnaise. Okay, so now that that's in there, I'm just going to mix all this up. And then we'll be adding our seasoning. Now, as far as mayonnaise goes, if you raise chickens and have lots of eggs, have you tried making your own mayonnaise? If that's something that you're interested in, Marilyn might be able to put together a video of how to make mayonnaise with your own eggs and some olive oil. That would be kind of a fun video. So go ahead and comment below if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. In the meantime, I'll get this mixed up. And when it looks mixed and I clean up my mess, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so for seasoning, I'm going to use, and you could mix this up if you want, but for my recipe, I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of celery powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to get all that mixed up. Now, I normally don't measure any of this. I kind of just put it in. But I kind of approximated everything that gets put in to the measurements I just gave. I think that's a good starting point. And like I said, to taste, if you taste it and you think it needs a little bit more of something, go ahead and just make your adjustments. But this, I think, is a good starting point. Once this is all mixed up, it's basically ready to go. Now, the longer this sits, like if you make this and put it in the if you make it in advance and put it in the fridge, it's going to taste a little bit better, I think. I don't know if it's because it has a chance to sit with all those seasonings or what, but the flavor gets a little bit better. But it tastes good fresh as well. So, and I'm not waiting around. I'm making this so that we can have lunch. All right, let me get this all mixed up and moved into a bowl, and then we'll make a sandwich. Okay, so I sliced up some bread and little mayonnaise, a slice of cheese, and we're using Morningstar Farms bacon. And if anybody who doesn't know, it's a plant-based bacon made by a company called Morningstar Farms. I haven't figured out how to make good bacon yet. I have played around with different recipes, but it's just easier to pick it up. And I'll leave it at that. My recipes are kind of lousy for bacon. So we'll put a nice big dollop of our tuna. And if I had fresh tomatoes, I'd probably put a slice of tomato on each of these as well. But we're still coming out of our challenge, and unfortunately we haven't picked up or grown any tomatoes yet. So, and then I'm gonna put a little lettuce on each one, and I'll get these topped, and then I'm gonna put them on the grill, grill them up, and we'll give it a shot. Just took them off the grill, and I'm gonna slice these in half just to make them a little easier to eat. And I'll get these plated up for me and Marilyn. Whoop. Now, this is after years of playing around with different types of vegetarian recipes. This is probably the best tuna recipe I've come up with, or that I found. I believe the secret to this one is the bay seasoning. And although bay seasoning is just celery, salt, and a mix of different peppers, it's convenient just to put that on there. If you don't have bay seasoning, it's just salt, celery, and some red pepper, some black pepper, paprika. You'll have to play around with that. You can probably find a recipe to make your own bay seasoning online. But you could probably even make this into a chicken salad by just changing the seasoning that you use. The texture is there. But if you've got a chance, give it a shot, whether you're a vegetarian or not. It's less heavy than tuna, a little less oil. Even if you have water canned tuna, it's still less heavy than that. And it tastes great. So give it a shot, and if you want to see more recipes like this, leave a comment down below, and I'll see what I can come up with. Until next time, me and Marilyn are going to go have our lunch. I'll see you in the next video.